Hello and welcome back to MjonesStyle. When we left you, we were making the Italian cream cake, and I've already put it in the oven, gotten it out of the oven. Here are my 3 cakes, and now we're going to frost the cake. This is what you need in order to make the frosting, and it's called a cream cheese frosting. You're going to need some vanilla, which is 1 teaspoon. You'll need a whole package of cream cheese, that's 8 ounces. And then you need a stick of butter, and that's a half a cup of butter. You're going to need 6 cups of sifted powdered sugar or confectioner's sugar. And you're going to mix all that up in your blender. And this is what you're going to end up with, is a nice, beautiful frosting. Okay, so let's get started on this frosting. And what I like to do is I've already put one of my layers on my cake platter that I'm going to use. And then I take and plop me some cake frosting right on top of that, like that. And then I take my little spatula here and I just kind of smooth it around and try to get all the way to the edge as best I can. Okay, see what I'm doing there? And then, you know, if I don't feel like using that spoon, I'll just go back in there with my spatula and get me a little more frosting to put on there. Okay, that looks just about right. Okay, now that I have that on there, I'm going to go with my next layer. Let's see if I can get this layer off of here without messing it up. And I like to turn them upside down for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just what I like to do. Okay, that's my next one. And let's get that one frosted. And just take your time, because this cake is so moist and so tender, it will start to kind of like crumble. But don't worry about that. Just take your time, and you'll eventually get it all around the cake. And if it comes up a little bit, that's not a problem. Just lay it back down with your spatula. Okay. All right. And this cake has, it's a 3-layered cake. I'm sure you could probably make you know, cut the layers in half, but you know, you might get into trouble there because it's so tender and moist it may fall all apart. So no, I take that back. Don't do that. Okay, so we got that done. And now let's put our 3rd layer on. Okay. There we go. And then we're going to put another dollop of icing on there. That spread over there real nice and pretty. Okay. And a lot of times people will put their nuts in between the cake. I don't really like to do that. I just like to put my nuts either on top of the cake or around the cake. I just think it just makes the cake so much easier to cut. So that's why I do that. But if you want to try your hand at putting it in between, help yourself, because I know people like a lot of nuts on their cake. Okay, now that we've got that 3rd layer on there, now what we're going to do is we're going to start putting some frosting on the sides of the cake. So you're just going to start wherever you want, and if you'll see, I'm just kind of spreading the frosting around the sides of the cake, like so. And you go all the way around the cake with this frosting. And we're going to use all this frosting. We're just going to keep layering it on until we just get lots of frosting on this cake. And what that's going to do is, if it looks a little lopsided, that's how you can correct your cake, is with your frosting. Is just by building up a little bit more frosting in an area where it may seem to be a little flat. Okay? Isn't that looking nice? And we'll go over it a couple of times, make sure that we get it all nice and even. Now this frosting is just a standard cream cheese frosting. You can use it for any recipe that calls for a cream cheese frosting. I just got it out of the Southern Living, one of my Southern Living cookbooks. Okay, we're a little more than halfway there, so let's finish this up here. Looking really nice, huh? Now, the other thing that I'm going to do today is after I get this cake taken care of and get it all ready, I'll put it to the side and put it in the fridge and pull it out on Thursday morning. And it'll be nice and fresh, you know, because all the ingredients are fresh, so you don't have to worry about that even though today is Tuesday. I'm going to get started on my green beans and potatoes. And then I'm going to go ahead, we always like to have this thing that we call marinated carrots, or we call it copper pennies. And it's basically marinated carrots, and it has vegetables in it. But they need to marinate a couple of days, so I'm going to go ahead and get that handled today too. And then tomorrow is my pie making day. So I'll just be knee deep in pie dough and making pies all day tomorrow. So let's go around this cake to make sure we got it nice and even. Okay. Just about got it there. Okay. Very good. All right. Now that we've done that, I'm going to put a little more icing on top of the cake because I've got plenty of it here. And I'm going to kind of even that out a little bit. Okay, put a little bit more on there. Just a little bit more, and I leave just a little bit just in case I have any oops when I'm putting on the nuts. And what I did with my nuts, there they are right here. These are my nuts. These are pecans, and they're just chopped, and then I toasted the pecans in the oven for about 10 minutes. And that really does bring out the flavor in nuts. I tell you, you're just not going to believe the difference. If you've never toasted your nuts, you're going to love it. But make sure you are in the kitchen, because if you get sidetracked and start doing something else, you're going to burn your nuts. And they're too expensive to be burning, because you'll have to throw them away. Okay. All right. Look at that cake. Isn't that pretty? Yay. Now that we have that done, we're going to move on over here. And we are going to, oh, I got a little area right there I could get. But you know, the pecans are going to take care of that too. But let's just put that on there right there. Okay, now, so the next thing we're going to do is take these pecans. And we are going to put these pecans on this cake. And I'm going to put them around the cake. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This is not an easy feat to get it around the cake. But just try your hand at it. If it doesn't work out for you, don't worry about it. So I kind of tilt it to the side a little bit, and I just, woo, don't come off there, hold on just a second. I tilted it a little bit too much. Get back on there. Okay, I just tilt it just a little bit, and I just kind of drop them on there as best I can, kind of like that. And I'm going to drop them all the way around the cake, just like so, just on the inside of the platter. Because what I'm going to do is bring the nuts up the cake with a knife. So hold on just a minute. With a knife and with my hands, you know, you just got to work with it a little bit. But you just take it and you just kind of, if you see what I'm doing here, I'm just taking it and I'm just bringing it up on the cake like so. See there how it's coming on up there? And it's going to stick to the icing. And it makes a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. You can clean that up when you're all finished. And you just keep going around the cake until you just get it all the way around the cake and the way you like it, you know, as best you can. And I just keep doing this, going around the cake. And if I need some more nuts, I get them. And sometimes I'll take a few in my hand like this, and I'll just put it on the cake like this, like so, like that. That's all you have to do. Put a little bit in your hand and just put it on the cake like that. And see how it's coming on the cake? Okay. And then what we do after we get through doing all this, we clean the cake up. All that's going to be cleaned up, and it's going to be so pretty because I'm going to dust all that off and continue to put it on the cake just like so until I get it just the way I want it. Make sure that it's really pretty and that most of the icing around the cake is covered. But as you see what I'm doing, and eventually you're going to have it all on here. And then I'm going to get some more icing and just continue to do this. Okay. And then I look around and I see where I need some more icing. Excuse me, some more nuts. And then I'll take my knife and come up on it like this. So it's just a constant little work process, but it's not really that hard. You know, once you get a hang of it, it will just start to come on. And I'm going to show you the side of this one that I've worked on a little bit more than I have the other side so you can see what I'm talking about. But it just makes for such a beautiful presentation. And people always say, how did you get those nuts around that cake? Well, okay, now you see how you do it. And this is how the bakeries do it too, unless they have some kind of secret idea that I don't know about. This is the only way I know you can get it around the cake. But you see how beautiful that is? See how pretty that is? That is just so elegant. And so that's going to be the cake, and this is the Italian cream cake. It's going to be for my family on Thanksgiving Day. This is one of their favorites. They're going to love it. And I thank you for tuning in today. I wanted to remind you guys to go onto my website, which is MjonesStyle.com. That's where you will find all my recipes. You will find just my lifestyle, what I do on a daily basis, whenever I go and find great bargains. Whatever I like to do, especially eat, it'll be on my blog. And just stay tuned and come back to visit me. Thank you. Have a happy Thanksgiving.